from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Now at 11, organizations that support Central Indiana families have been working for almost a year to help with the financial impact of the pandemic. Now one group in Johnson County needs your support to help Hoosiers get back on their feet. WRTV's Cameron Riddle explains.
In Johnson County, there was a call for backup in the fight to help Hoosiers in need.
We have people that have lost their jobs. It's really hit our middle class.
Jenna Martin has seen firsthand the help people in Johnson County need, both due to the pandemic and the struggles of everyday life. She and a small staff from the nonprofit group Kids in Crisis Intervention Team offers a wide range of services to Johnson County residents experiencing homelessness. The group, better known as Kick It, offers help with just about everything, from finding a place to live to transportation, managing finances, and even something as simple as a shower.
Our clients could be like our mother of 6 kids, trying to overcome challenges of the past to be successful. They also could be like another client that we have that's in high school with a newborn child who's trying to finish her high school diploma and work and take care of a brand new baby.
The young mother of 6 is an actual person who needs help with transportation to her new job. Kick It is looking for someone to donate a car to the mother trying to turn her life around and provide for her children. Martin says without having a car or public transportation, that mother could lose her new job.
On the south side of Indianapolis, we don't have a lot of public transportation. Having public transportation to get to jobs that have abilities for higher pay and additional skill sets is very difficult. And so we are trying to help this mom.
Kick It serves all of Johnson County, but doesn't receive a dime from the county. Donations are their lifeline. Martin says with a long road ahead still in this pandemic, every donation, big or small, goes a long way.
Some of our best donations have been Uber gift cards, Lyft gift cards, like Subway gift cards for food.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
And if you're interested in donating, you can learn more about the Kick It team on our website at WRTV.com. WRTV Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory joins us now, timing out more snow in the forecast. Kevin.
And we've got 2 systems to watch, Amanda. We'll take them one at a time. So tomorrow is first up. Temperatures right now around 30 degrees. We're dry, but mostly cloudy in central Indiana. Let me show you the timing for tomorrow. Most likely in this 2 to 8 o'clock time frame, and most likely as you go south of Indianapolis, south of Interstate 70. That's the most likely spot for accumulating snowfall. Pick up the timeline just after 1, Terre Haute to Bloomington down to Seymour, then expands to the northeast from there. I do think we'll see some snow in Indianapolis, but again, the better chance for accumulating snow is to the south. Here's the latest thinking with some of the computer models. Generally an inch, in some spots a little more, once you get from Bloomington to Columbus down toward the Ohio River. We'll focus on the second system in the forecast. We'll do that in just a few minutes.
More help is on the way for people struggling to make rent as the pandemic continues. The city of Indianapolis has received nearly $29 million in federal funds for rental assistance. A fiscal ordinance is expected to go before the City County Council for approval next Monday to deploy that money. A Central Indiana man talked to WRTV about the realities of trying to make ends meet during the COVID crisis. Derek Smith Jr. works in the sports industry. The father of 3 says jobs are scarce right now, even temp jobs.
It's just been a hard transition just to really find work in the field, because then it's like I hear a lot of people say, well, if you don't like those options, you shouldn't have chose those jobs. But I chose this job because I love what I do. I didn't think the whole world would, literally stop.
When it comes to paying his bills, Smith says he received rental assistance through the Indy Rent program. That helped, but did not last long. He was later hit with an eviction notice. Smith says he still has a roof over his head, only because of the national moratorium on evictions.
I guarantee you no lawmaker is dealing with what I'm dealing with. I guarantee no lawmakers having to call food kitchens to, figure out when they're giving food away.
Indiana is set to receive $448 million for rent and utility assistance in the latest congressional COVID-19 package. Smith hopes that money goes to people who really need it, and soon. The COVID relief bill also includes more funding to help small businesses. Vendors and shop owners at the Indianapolis City Market are among those who continue to struggle. Much of the market's customer base is people who work downtown. Many of those people have been working from home for months with no timetable for returning to offices. Now Market Street is closed for construction, creating accessibility issues. We first spoke to the executive director of City Market, Keisha Gray, after she took the position in November. Gray says merchants are getting financial support to help them get through this difficult time.
All of the merchants had their rents paid through the last quarter of last year, and that was a big help to a lot of them in order to be able to stay open. And we are certainly researching other grant and funding opportunities so that we can do what we can do from our end.
Gray says City Market is also working with a nonprofit called SCORE, which will provide free business mentors. And now to the latest on the impact of the COVID crisis on Hoosier lives. WRTV is dedicated to helping families share the names, faces, and stories of those who died from COVID-19.
I just celebrated my first birthday without either one. So, I didn't get that phone call or the text message late in the day.
Mindy Settles is mourning the death of two family members. Her 72-year-old mother-in-law, Diana, had Alzheimer's and was living in a nursing home when she caught COVID-19. She died in May. Then in November, Mindy's 74-year-old father, David Kinsey, contracted the virus. She says he died after checking into the hospital and sharing a message for his wife.
When he was in the hospital, he told her he'd marry her another 49 years. Truly his love of his life.
Mindy says her father was a volunteer firefighter and loved to serve the community. She says both he and her mother-in-law were very involved in the lives of their kids and their grandkids.
My mother-in-law used to say that if my husband and I decided to move from Indianapolis, we all had to move together because nobody was allowed to not live in the same state as each other.
If you lost a loved one to COVID-19 and would like to share their story, contact us at facesofcovid@WRTV.com. Now to the state of the pandemic across the country. Tonight, President Biden detailed his plan to turn things around. ABC's Rena Roy reports that includes getting more Americans vaccinated.
In President Biden's first week in office, one of his top priorities, tackling the relentless coronavirus, which now claims an average of more than 3,000 American lives every single day.
This is a wartime undertaking.
The president promising change and help as fast as possible. He's vowing to buy an extra 100 million doses of both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines for a total of 600 million, enough to vaccinate 300 million Americans by the end of this summer.
We will both increase the supply in the short term by more than 15% and give our states and local partners more certainty about when the deliveries will arrive.
Biden aiming for 10 million doses a week, then increasing from there.
We'll ensure that states, tribes, and territories will now always have a reliable 3-week forecast on what the supply they're going to get so they can carry out their plans to vaccinate as many people as possible.
Coast to coast, long lines as Americans wait hours to get their shot, only to be turned away. Some spending days trying to book an appointment.
The pandemic is one thing, it's bad. But the way this thing is being handled is terrible.
Mass vaccination sites are open across the country, but for now, state officials say there's just not enough doses.
The truth is, we do not yet have enough vaccine for those most at-risk serious complications or death from this virus.
Health experts are also sounding the alarm about new variants popping up all over the country, believed to be more contagious and possibly more dangerous. But scientists say vaccines will likely protect against them. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Right now in Indiana, anyone age 70 and older, long-term care residents, first responders, and healthcare workers are eligible for the vaccine. You can register at ourshot.in.gov or by calling 211. Remember, supplies limited, so appointments are not guaranteed. State health officials encourage you to check the website frequently. A pretrial conference is scheduled for April 20th in the case against a man charged with murdering an IMPD officer. Today, the Marion County prosecutor announced a request to seek the death penalty against Elias Dorsey. Dorsey is accused of killing Officer Breanne Leith in April of last year. Police say he fired shots through a door as officers responded to a disturbance call. Leith's mother spoke to WRTV about the death penalty announcement.
Breanne deserves justice. I mean, she lost her life. And so I feel like, without trying to sound like a horrible person, he should have to give his.
According to court documents, the aggravating circumstance for seeking the death penalty is that Leith was acting in the course of her duty as a law enforcement officer when the shooting happened. And today marks 10 years since the death of IMPD officer David Moore during a traffic stop on January 23, 2011. Moore was shot by a suspect 4 times. He fell into a coma and was eventually taken off life support on January 26. Moore was an organ donor and helped save several lives. Lance Lewis, who received Officer Moore's lungs, was there when IMPD, family and friends held a memorial ceremony for Moore.
I didn't know David, obviously, but in talking with Carol and Joe and Spencer and other folks, I know that he loved his job. He loved his community. And he loved to serve the people of his community. And I would submit to you that through his gift of organ donation to myself, another lady here in the state and others out of state, that he is still serving his community.
Moore was 29 years old. He received the department's Medal of Honor and Purple Heart after his death. The man who pled guilty to shooting him is spending life in prison without parole as part of his plea bargain.
He's unusually young for renal cell cancer, actually.
Coming up, a local doctor gives perspective on the diagnosis revealed today in Pacers player Karis LeVert. And next, why streaming videos and taking online surveys led to the suspension of a state employee.
Only at Ashley Home Store.
WRTV Investigates is looking into ghost employment and misuse of state property within the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs. A report from the Office of Inspector General found an IDVA employee used her state-issued computer to take online surveys for money. Investigators found the employee earned nearly $300 from a company for streaming videos and completing surveys during her state working hours. IDVA suspended the employee. The agency's director addressed the report to a Senate committee on Tuesday.
So I would say that this is an example of what we want to do. Not everybody is perfect. There are going to be issues. There will be challenges with staff. For those that have more than a few staff, things happen, and we need to be able to address them.
State policy allows for only limited personal use on state computers. The State Ethics Commission agreed with IDVA's decision to suspend the employee involved without pay. Parts of the country are either bracing for or cleaning up after powerful storms. San Francisco is putting up sandbags and flood barriers in anticipation of strong winds, heavy rain, and possible mudslides. And people in other parts of the Bay Area are evacuating due to the storm. The Alabama community of Fultondale is working to pick up the pieces after a deadly EF3 tornado blew through last night. 135-mile-per-hour winds tore off roofs and leveled houses. Some neighbors helped others who were trapped under debris. And today, Las Vegas firefighters made a daring rescue during whiteout blizzard conditions. The search and rescue team used a rope to save an injured hiker near Red Rock in southern Nevada. The climber was about 300 feet up the mountain. Crews climbed up the mountain, treated the hiker's fractured ankle, and then lowered them to safety. Kevin, we're going to be getting a little bit of weather ourselves.
Yeah, we've got 2 different weather systems to talk about. The second will come from what's happening in California now. I just want to show you rolling into the West Coast. They've got rain and then snow at the higher elevations. If you come out into the Central Plains, that's what brought the snow to portions of the Southwest. Las Vegas had some snow, and then we just talked about the other issues there. What's developing in the Central Plains will move our way tomorrow with afternoon snow most likely. If you're starved for sunshine, hang in there. Thursday and Friday, 2 days with sunshine. Then the weekend storm system we need to talk about. That will be more powerful and a little more likely to have impacts with rain and snow. Temperature 20 tomorrow morning up in Peru, 25 in the metro area. That's to start the day. Temperatures even Thursday with more sunshine will stay below freezing. Friday, partly sunny, 35 for the high. Let's get into your details for the light snow expected tomorrow. I pick up the timeline at 1 o'clock. Terre Haute to Bloomington to Seymour, some snow arriving. May mix with some rain at first down south. Notice the darker blues continue to hang south of Interstate 70 even at 4 o'clock. Then at 7, that's where you're most likely to see the accumulating snow. We may have some light accumulations around the metro area in Indy, but as you go north, shouldn't be much of an issue at all as far as those snowfall potential numbers. Looks like an inch to a little more in spots, especially from Bloomington to Columbus south toward the Ohio River. Thursday, there's the sunshine. Temperatures in the lower 30s for the afternoon. Still breezy, northeast 10 to 15. Temperatures won't change much across the state for Friday, just a few degrees warmer. There's your weekend forecast, 38 Saturday, 40 Sunday. The key will be the timing for this weather system. There by 7 o'clock, you see some snow and rain pushing northeast from there. The question, how long will we have snow before changing over to rain? And the track of the storm system is still not set in stone, but it may have about an inch of moisture with it. We'll see how much is converted toward rain and snow. Early next week, maybe some Monday morning snow still with us, 33 and then 36 on Tuesday, and partly sunny. That is a 7-day forecast.
Being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it.
Tomorrow marks 1 week since poet Amanda Gorman stole the show on Inauguration Day. Now she's making international headlines, but scholars say Gorman is doing more than making a name for herself. Casey Mendoza with our partners at Newsy reports the young poet is inspiring a new generation.
And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect.
Amanda Gorman, the first National Youth Poet Laureate and the youngest inaugural poet in U.S. history at 22, was one of the biggest breakout stars of the inauguration. In the days since performing The Hill We Climb, which she finished on the day of the Capitol insurrection, Gorman's been praised by fellow poets and scholars across the country.
To be the inaugural poet, there's all this pressure of like, you have to write a poem for the moment, right?
But she gave us the sense that language has the ability to address this, to unravel an ugliness and make it beautiful and make it manageable for us.
We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother, can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one.
She represented me as an African-American woman. She represented me as a poet.
Like, we talk a lot about how symbols matter, and that is a symbol that matters. It's not just that she's young. It's not just that she's a woman. It's that she's young, she's a woman, and she's a woman of color. And that she is a representation of who gave Biden the victory.
Gorman's performance is now part of a legacy of political poetry, hence comparisons to past inaugural poet Maya Angelou and Los Angeles poet Wanda Coleman, who is best known for highlighting issues of class and racism in American society.
Poetry rises in moments of crises, and then we're continually, forgetting and then reminding ourselves that, yes, poetry can be used in this way and it's effective.
We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy.
She didn't shy away from anything. She called out the white supremacy that we've recently seen in action.
Going forward, scholars hope that the work by the LA-born, Harvard-educated Gorman can help inspire a new generation of poets and artists.
I hope that younger kids are looking at Amanda Gorman and going like, yeah, I want that. I want to do that.
I advise our Slam Poetry Club on campus here, and they idolize young poets.
I saw the youth a rejuvenation or the renaissance. I'll say that. I saw the renaissance in her work, in the entire embodiment.
Casey Mendoza, Newsy, Chicago.
.com.
Tonight, the Pacers are welcoming more fans back to Bankers Life Fieldhouse. For last Sunday's home game, a limited number of fans were allowed in the stands. Tonight, the team tweeted they can safely increase that number and will start selling limited balcony level seats beginning with this coming Sunday's game. Seating is socially distanced. Fans are asked to complete a health screening and masks are required currently. The Marion County Health Department will only allow 25% capacity. That's around 4,500 people in Bankers Life Fieldhouse. And the newest Pacer is recovering from surgery tonight and will be out indefinitely. Today, the team announced Karis LeVert had surgery at Community North yesterday to treat renal cell carcinoma of his left kidney. Officials say no further treatment is needed. The Pacers describe the surgery as successful and say LeVert is expected to make a full recovery. Many fans are relieved for him and sending well wishes, but they're also curious about the diagnosis. I reached out to an oncologist with Ascension for perspective. Dr. Sherry Ziegler says the disease is usually found in people who are 60 or older.
Risk factors, he doesn't really have them. We typically will see it more in an older individual who's obese or has hypertension. There may be a component of hereditary in his view too. So especially below the age of 40, we'll see a lot of younger individuals have a family history of kidney cancer.
The mass on LeVert's kidney was discovered during a routine physical that was part of the Pacers' trade for him. He has said he did not feel any symptoms. Dr. Ziegler says early detection is key.
So kidney cancer as a whole, we see probably about 75,000 cases in the United States. The thankful thing is the majority of them are found at stage 1 disease, so very early stage. And I suspect he was stage 1, too. And we're seeing a higher incidence of it, in part probably because we're imaging more people. So the majority of the people are actually found early, go to surgery, and ultimately cured and live a long, healthy life.
When it comes to prevention efforts, Dr. Ziegler recommends not smoking, taking care of your weight, blood pressure, and having a physical exam once a year. Major League Baseball honored Hank Aaron today. MLB Network broadcasted a memorial held at Truist Park in Atlanta. That's the home of the Braves, the team Aaron played for decades. Several people talked about his life and legacy, including Commissioner Rob Manfred, fellow Braves Hall of Famer Chipper Jones, and former Braves Marquise Grissom.
There's no other athlete that I know that had an impact on my life and many other kids right here in the city of Atlanta. But to see what he endured and what he went through, for me as an athlete and as a person, I have no room to complain. And I can't thank him enough for the stories, the memories, and the influence and the impact that he had on my career. We as a nation, as a country, has lost a true legend and humanitarian.
Hank Aaron died on Friday at the age of 86. We'll be right back.
That's for just $209 a month.
Let's call it southern snow. South of Interstate 70, the most likely place to see accumulating snow. Could be an inch or a little higher in spots. There, your afternoon temperature stuck just below the freezing mark with the snow roughly 2 to 8 p.m. Amanda?
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Good morning, Indiana starts at 4:30. Good night.